for Stampin' Up! Welcome to my craft corner.
We're using Holly Jolly Greetings, which has a lot of different varieties of Christmas greetings that you can combine. And we're also using the Christmas Greetings Thinlit, which includes Jolly, Merry, and Peace. We're using Pool Party that is cut at 5 1/2 and 8 1/2, scored at 4 1/4 for our card base. And we're using a 2 by 5 1/2 inch piece of the silver foil. We'll start with our embossing. So on the very front of the card, up in the top left corner, I'm going to use the snowflake. To make sure I get it all the way up in the corner, I'm putting the two of the arms of the snowflake near the top. And of course I forgot to use my embossing buddy, which I will use for the inside. I seem to always forget that. I have a scrap of just regular copy paper underneath this to catch the extra embossing powder. I'm going to pull the extra aside for a little bit, and I'm going to use my heat tool to emboss, to heat. Absolutely lovely, if I do say so myself. Inside, I'm going to go ahead and stamp my greeting, and I have chosen to combine Merry Christmas, wishing you peace and joy. But of course there are many different greeting combinations. I am going to remember my embossing buddy this time. All I have to do is rub it over my card. There is some sort of powder that reduces static on the card and keeps those little flecks from sticking where you don't want them. And of course all of this can go back in the jar to be used for another project. Embossing powder is one of those items that really goes a long way for $5, and you can just make tons of cards with that one tub. And when you use your heat embosser, it changes that dull powder to shiny bright. I'm bringing in my Big Shot for two different things. I'm using the precision base plate. I'm going to cut my silver foil with Merry, and I am going to use both of these pieces. So I'm going to place this as straight as I can, parallel to the edge of my card. My sandwich is my multi-purpose platform on tab 2, my precision base plate, my foil, with my Thinlit placed as close as I can get to where I want it, and then my clear plate on top of that. And that should pop right out. I do want to be careful because I want to use both of these pieces. Perfect. And then I'm going to use the same multi-purpose platform, but this time opening it up to tab 1. I'm going to use a clear mat. I'm going to put the rectangle that I just cut, the Stylish Stripes folder, placing my second clear standard plate on top and running this through the Big Shot. And that looks beautiful. I'm going to tie a bow around the D block. And when I'm tying a bow, I have a hard time, like many of you do, with tying bows. And so if I can have something solid to tie it onto, all the better. With the D-block, I can tie it nice and tight. I'm using my alligator clip as an extra hand. And I want to keep the ribbon as flat and straight as I can without twisting. Again, it's so much easier having something that will hold still. And then I can fuss as much as I want. I'm going to trim my ends at an angle. And then I just slide it off the block. I'm going to want my bow on the right side of the card, and so I just need to pull, so I've got about a ½ inch over the side, and I'm going to clip this straight. I'm clipping this one straight so I know for sure that the straight one is the one I want to glue down, the angled one is the one that I want to have hanging as part of the bow. I'm going to put some adhesive on the back. I'm using Fast Fuse, but really this is one of those adhesive tasks that just about any of our adhesives will do. This could easily be snail adhesive or whatever you have. And I'm wrapping the ribbon around. I've got the paper flat so I can make sure that that stays pretty flat. And then I have my lovely bow. If you want to put a little adhesive back here, you can, to just make sure it stays where you want it there. Then I'm just going to use adhesive to put it on the back. Just going to adhere this to the front of my card. I am going to place the little cutout from the Y in the place. I perhaps should have put that through the Big Shot when I was running the embossing folder, but I don't think that it will show up too much. And I'm going to use our fine tip glue pen on the cutout of the word. I am not bothering to glue in the middle of the E because it's such a tiny little piece. And you do want to put that pin back in your glue bottle to keep that closed tight. And I find it helpful to have a pair of tweezers to handle this. I want my Mary a little bit up. I want to place this a little bit up and to the right. And I'm just going to flip this over and press it down. I think this makes a very elegant card, very easy to mail, and just lovely, so shiny and bright. If you would like to add an embellishment, I have ordered but not yet received my Winter Wonderland embellishments. I think it will be perfect here. It also is a 6-sided design, just like our snowflake. And I think they will be perfect for this, but I have not received them. In the meantime, I'm going to use a Candy Dot brad base. Now, I don't like to have the legs of brad sticking back through here. I remove the legs of the brad just by bending back and forth. And because that's recessed, I'm going to use 2 glue dots stacked up in the middle of my snowflake. And place my brad base on top of that. And one of the larger rhinestones. And these fit nicely in these bases. And I think this too makes a very elegant addition. I hope you like this shiny quick card as much as I do. If you'd like to download the directions, come on over to bevadams.com and there's a link to download it. There's also a Shop Now button that will take you to my online store where you can get all your Stampin' Up! Supplies. Thank you for coming by. Talk to you soon.